God bless you, YouTube. I'm going to stream, do something on Facebook Live at the same time. God bless you. I saw, heard a quote, and as much as I would like to make myself seem all mystical and deep and say that I thought of it, I didn't. I was listening to a video by Grant Cardone, a noted sales trainer, motivational speaker. And Grant Cardone said, sacrifice now so you don't have to compromise later. And to me, that was so golden because the spirit of compromise has permeated our society. When you lend yourself to compromise, that you lower your standards to be accepted. You lower your standards to get to a certain place. You lower your standards to be your mode of travel through this race we call success. You put yourself in a bad position because when you compromise, you're doing things that are less than God's best, and oftentimes most of these things are less than your best. So it's so important when we sacrifice now. Folks are going to laugh at you when you're spending the extra time studying. Folks are going to laugh at you the time that you're building your craft or working on your thing. But if you do it now, you ain't got to kiss bottoms later. You don't have to scratch backs. You don't have to laugh when you're not tickled. So if you sacrifice now, you won't have to compromise later. Folks, when you compromise, then all of a sudden you have enabled a whole network of folks to know the goods on you, to know that you're willing to go less than God's best, to know that you're ready to go beneath the pale, that let them know that you'll go lower than any man's gone or any woman's gone just to get what you need. But if you sacrifice now, I think about that now. I've seen that in many work situations. I had a 10-year run at a Honda dealership, and I wasn't the hottest salesman there from the start. But I stayed loyal to my principles. And then there was a guy that was tearing up the woods, and I was considered second best. But I built slowly, and he built fast. He built so fast that all of a sudden he started compromising. And then all of a sudden, none of his clients wanted to come to him again. And then there was years before I finished at that Honda dealership that the only name that they heard at the door was mine. But I sacrificed in my now then to not have to compromise. Folks, look, no one puts a limit on whether you're the first one or the last one out of the door. Folks, when everybody else was going home, when everybody else was singing his platitudes, when everybody else was talking about him, I stayed late. I got there early. I stayed late. I sacrificed then so I didn't have to compromise. I built slowly. I saw a guy blowing up, going up, and I'm just the one that nobody's talking about. But it came a day, and I don't think it's ever done. I mean, I had one day in the Honda business that not in the service department, but I had 11 people in the dealership asking for me, waiting for me on the same day. That's a salesman's dream. I mean, I couldn't possibly get to them. Then I got to the point where I couldn't wait on you unless you had an appointment because I couldn't get to everybody. Folks, but you said that's not bragging on me, but that's bragging on the sacrifice. If you do the sacrifice, if you study when no one else is studying, if you're plugging when nobody else is plugging, then you won't have to try to bring them the boss his coffee, or you won't have to let the boss pat you on the bottom, females or males. She patting you on the bottom. You keep your standards high. If you sacrifice in the short term, you won't have to compromise in the long term. Everybody wants things quick. I think I saw signs some years ago, antiques made while you wait. But folks, you won't get to anywhere meaningful without some form of sacrifice. So it's better to do it now than have to pay the price later. Because sooner or later, what you do when you compromise, the bad thing about compromise is that you're not the only one that knows about it. The bad thing about compromise is that sooner or later it's going to be made. Everything hidden will be revealed. So I'm speaking that to you on today, that if you sacrifice now, you won't have to compromise later. I spent time studying, and it was a whole bunch of preachers. Thank you, Dr. Payne. I saw a whole bunch of preachers that their summer vacations was in Italy, and their summer vacations was in all over the world, Maui and Dubai and everything else. So I felt so bad for a season. But my summer vacations, my wife and I, it's a wonder that she didn't leave me, but they were spent at conferences. I mean, if you're going to be in something, you need to sharpen your iron. They were spent at conferences watching the best of preachers preach. We go to the Full Gospel Baptist Convention. We go to T.D. Jakes Megafest. We were going to conferences, and unfortunately, she didn't leave me while everybody else was vacationing. But it made me better at what I do. So now when these jokers figure that I got to scratch their backs and kiss their bottoms, no, because I sacrificed then so I don't have to compromise right now. I know that I don't rub shoulders, and I know I'm not in the clique, the club, the clan, but I promise you, the years of sacrifice that I do, the years that Robin has sacrificed, I'm proud of you, brother. The years that Derek Payne, whatever you say, that he had to spend time. A black man doesn't come out of Vanderbilt easily. Black man doesn't come out of Vanderbilt easily. I said that twice. That's gospel. So he had to sacrifice a whole lot of things in the short term to get to where he now doesn't have to compromise. Oh, you don't have to kiss bottoms. I don't have to try to like you. You don't have to, females, let the boss, like I said, touch you on the bottom. No, because you're bringing value to the situation. Be bold enough to sacrifice now, because I don't like kissing bottoms. I don't like laughing when I'm not tickled. I don't like, having to play to your game. I don't like playing the games. I don't like all of that. So I sacrifice. I study when you're not studying. I work when you're not working, because one thing I told in corporate settings, and they get a little hot. I said, you will not outwork me. No manager here will outwork me. And I learned that work ethic through the car business, because I was the last one. Before I became a manager in the car business, they hated working the shift with me, because whoever was there, if a customer came on the lot late at night, they knew that I was going to walk out there and get them, and they did not like me being the one to have to turn the key, because that meant I stayed late. So I learned working like that. If I can't beat you in the Conrad Hilton said that. The owner of the Hilton franchise, he said that he became great working half days. He said, you pick which half of the day, the first 12 hours or the second, and I promise you, you'll be successful. So I put in those kind of days, because you in sales, in business, you don't have the opportunity. They say, well, you need some work-life balance. Well, folks, if your money ain't right, you can't do nothing with that work-life balance. So I stayed working. You everybody in business, every day, every hour moves you closer to an opportunity. So folks, there are some decisions that you got to make. Yeah, sometimes you want, and then sometimes you got to look at your surroundings. If everybody around you is broke, you need to make some decisions. I'm not saying you leave people, you look down on people, you move over people. But folks, sometimes you have to go outside of your norm and make the sacrifice. I call around town and find the best guy in town, the top guy in town. And I said, serve me, I take you to lunch. Take you to lunch on my dime. And folks, sitting down with people that are super successful, that was a better use of my time than sitting there talking with people about the same old. And I'm saying that goes for every industry. If you sacrifice now, you won't have to compromise later. So I don't spend my time going around trying to demand respect, because my work ethic makes me command respect. Be blessed. Have an awesome day. God bless you.